नमस्ते।
नमस्ते।
तपाईको नाम के हो?
मेरो नाम जेम्स हो। तपाईँको नाम के हो?
मेरो नाम सुमन हो।
तपाईँलाई भेटेर कस्तो लाग्यो?
तपाईलाई भेटेर पनि खुसी लाग्यो।
James recently celebrated his 20th birthday and he was extremely happy. It seems like he's enjoying his life quite well. According to him, his life became much better after Suman came into his life, and there has been significant improvement in his life. But his life wasn't so good just 2 years ago. There are three key things to look after in James' life. Number 1, the day he was born. Number 2, his childhood. And number 3, the day Suman became his carer. This is Neeraj and you're watching Sydney Reflect. Please subscribe to our channel for more inspiring stories from Sydney. Now, back to James and Suman. When James was born, the doctor told his parents that there was 50% chance of his survival because he was born 25 weeks premature.
I was born 25 weeks premature. I was born with a disability called cerebral palsy. It was a very hard time back then because the doctors gave me a 50 chance of survival because they weren't sure if I was going to make it or not. But eventually I pulled through and I'm still here.
For me, cerebral palsy was completely a new term. I wanted to know more about it, so I googled it. What I found was cerebral palsy is a physical disability that affects movement and posture. It is the most common physical disability in childhood. Every 20 hours, an Australian child is born with cerebral palsy. In Australia, there are approximately 34,000 people with cerebral palsy. Having cerebral palsy can be like being inside a body you can't fully control. And that will be the reality James has to live with in his entire life. James was always a happy child. He has 3 sisters. At age 4, he lost his mother. Ever since, his dad is looking after him.
When I turned 4 years old, sadly I lost my mother. She had pneumonia and she left it too late, and unfortunately, we had to say goodbye. Ever since then, my dad's been looking after me. He's been doing a really good job, and I appreciate that. I have 3 sisters, but I don't see them very often as I would like to, because they live in different areas of Australia.
James started his early education from special school, but one day, one of his teachers realized that he was too smart to be in a special school. So, the teacher recommended him to the normal school. From there, he completed his junior school. Then he joined high school and completed his high school. Now, James was no longer a child. He was a grown-up adult, and he really enjoyed having conversation with people about their lives and their experiences.
Welcome everybody to the Friendship Day. I would like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land on which I live, and recognise their continuing connection to the land, water and community by paying my respect to elders past, present and emerging. Thank you everybody.
He always wanted to help those who are less fortunate than him.
Well, I've always gotten along with people. So I talk to other people about about their life and their experiences. I've always wanted to help people, who are less fortunate than I am. So I've always wanted to help people.
But due to his physical disability, he was confined to either home or daycare center. So he started feeling bored with his life.
Like, to be perfectly honest, I was pretty bored because I felt like I wasn't I felt like I wasn't allowed to do the things that I wanted to do.
Gradually, he started getting depressed with his life. According to him, he was missing the freedom to do what he wanted in his life.
I was depressed because, because I really don't know how to say this, but I was depressed for quite a long time because I felt like I wasn't allowed to. Well, it's not that I wasn't allowed, but I felt that I wasn't being able to do the things that I wanted to do. So I also felt not just depressed, but I also felt quite bored.
More than that, he was missing a helping hand, a friend who could support and assist him to fulfill his life's goal. So one day, he started looking for a carer through online. And he was not just looking for a carer, but someone who can support him to fulfill his life's goal. On searching, he found someone with the name Suman.
Online platform. So I sent Suman a message one day and I said, "Hello, my name is James. I'm looking for a carer." And he replied back and said, "Hello, my name is Suman. Yeah, very nice to meet you. I'm happy to be your friend." And then that's how we connected.
I asked Suman how he found James, and he told me that he was also looking for an opportunity as a support worker.
It's back to 2019. I was looking for some work related to disability support or individual support, and I was searching in different platform. I joined with online platform as well. So James sent me a message that he was interested on my service and profile, so he connect with me, and then I joined with him through that process.
On the first day, when James and Suman met each other, Suman still remembers that he was quite surprised.
I was expecting, like, on his profile he had a little bit more breed, and he was looks like a little bit aged, and when I meet with him I was surprised. He's younger than me and he's around my age.
He also remembers that they both were a kind of shy at the first meetup, but they gradually started their introductions.
We was a little bit shy with each other. We haven't met before, so we did our introduction as well, and then after that we shared our stories, our area of interest, and it's a kind of rapport building with each other.
They share about their interests, their likes and dislikes, and the friendship began. Fast forward 2 years, when I asked James how his life is and how he is feeling now, he was so excited to share his feeling.
How did you find being with Suman? I mean, like, how do you feel being with Suman?
After I met Suman, I just felt completely blessed because I believe in God. I believe that if you do the right thing and good things, then good things will happen to you. And that's what I felt happened to me. Like, I was doing good things. So I felt God was sending me a sign through Suman. And I feel that God has put me and Suman together.
I asked Suman how he managed to bring such a significant change in James' life, and his answer made me believe how great he is.
We have to keep ourselves in his position. We are here because he needs support. So we need to keep some patient as well in different situation. And the most thing is like you have to dialogue with each other to make our bonding and connection. And the giving care is not only like giving personal care and support. You have to be attached with emotionally as well, so that it will be more strong your bonding, and so that you can realize what you're doing for him. Yeah, it's a kind of two-way teamwork.
Suman noticed that James didn't like being confined to one place. He found James has a learning attitude, and he was worried about his further education.
Before I start, he was still continuing his daycare program, and whenever he had to go to the daycare, I find him like he's not happy with that situation. It's as human being, everyone likes the freedom, like they have their own dream, then one way of living their lifestyle. So I found him as a little bit dissatisfied, or he doesn't want to go to the daycare program like that. So I approached his father and I asked him as well, if he wants to continue his education. I can help him to join, get the registration with the college. So luckily we got the registration in college. So he started his college as well, and we searched different agencies that working in the sector of disabilities, and we found self advocacy Sydney is one of them. Is providing capacity building support like self advocacy and leadership trainings as well. And we got some space on their newsletter as well about our teamwork and about our future plan as well.
James shared with me that Suman has enrolled him in the leadership and peer group support course in Self Advocacy Sydney.
I also go to Blacktown, which is leadership and peer support, because I want to become a leader because I have that capacity, I have the vision, the confidence, and I also have a good attitude. So I want to become a leader. So I joined this group called Self Advocacy Sydney. They're also called SAS for short. So I join them every Wednesday, but due to COVID restrictions, I've had to do it online.
Suman wants to give a better life to James so that he could live with full satisfaction. And I can actually see how happy James is with Suman. Suman is not just a carer, he's just like a brother to James.
After I met Suman, I just felt really blessed because, he lets me do what I want whenever I want. And we're close to the same age group. So he's my family and my brother and my best friend. And
According to James, Suman has a great sense of humor, and whenever he's sad, Suman knows how to cheer him up.
he has a good sense of humor. Like when I'm upset or depressed or whatever, he knows how to cheer me up. Um, the other thing that I like about him as well is that he's teaching me Nepalese, and he's a wonderful spirited person. He's got a good heart, a very kind heart, and as I said before, he's my brother, he's family. So to me, he's also very loving and compassionate.
And to my surprise, I was really impressed how well James has picked up the Nepali words.
What is this, James?
Nak,
And what is this?
Khan,
What's this?
Muk,
What's that?
Jibro,
What's that?
Daddy.
So this one, what's this?
Maya Kutta,
Daya hat.
Daihat,
What's that?
Daihat,
Baya.
Maya Hat.
James and Suman together had made a 10-year plan. One day, when James was curious to know about the situation of physically disabled people in Nepal like him, he was really sad to know that physically disabled people in Nepal have a very hard life compared to him. When he knew that, he felt like he wanted to help them. So they both made a 10-year plan for that. And they already started a fundraising campaign for that. What is their 10-year plan? Let's listen from them
as well. So he's good-hearted person, and he wants to help the people having disabilities, because the people who have that situation, they can feel the true feelings of those people. So he want to help the people having disabilities. Like in Nepal there is no any strong policy and guidelines and programs for the people having disabilities. So we planned to create one accessible community home, so that they can share their experience, they can advocate each other as a peers, as they can share experience, they can advocate for their rights as well. It's all about for them. It's a one of kind of learning center and self confidence development place we're planning to develop in Nepal.
I'm really impressed with James and Suman, and it's not only about their 10-year plan, which is great, but because of their friendship, because of their bonding. Looking at James' passion and excitement about his life's goal, I feel like I have a long way to go in my life, even though I have everything that James doesn't. And look at Suman, how compassionate he is. He's not just taking care of James, but he's giving his freedom back. He's adding happiness, and he's building James' life.
So you look.
Just a few months ago, I got the opportunity to travel to Wollongong with them, and spending some days with both of them really helped me to observe and learn about them. I could see how Suman has brought such an incredible change in James' life, and also how James is enjoying each moment of his life in joy and happiness. There are 3 key reflections to take on before we say goodbye. Number 1, don't play the victim card. Do what it takes to find the way to do the things you want to. Number 2, always help others whenever you can, however you can. Number 3, find the someone who can help you, or be the one to help others.
Namaste, everyone. My name is James. I'm from Australia. My birthday is coming up tomorrow. Jamadan Bali. So I had a plan to help Nepal. So I want to send some money over for the people in Nepal, people with disability. So I had a 10-year plan to build and design a community-based home for people with disabilities to go to so that they'll be well looked after and cared for. A small donation can help me go a long way and help me reach my goal. So far, I have managed to raise $500, but I am looking to reach $10,000. So a, a, a small donation goes a very long way to helping me reach my goal and the country of Nepal. Daniel Bolt.